a todos y buenos días a todos y a todas. Bienvenidos, bienvenidas a este acto inaugural del Congreso Internacional de Energías Renovables y Calidad de Potencia. En primer lugar, tiene la palabra el director científico del Congreso, don Manuel Pérez Donición.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Profesor Francisco Javier García Rodríguez, rector de la Laguna University, Mr. Mariano Hernández Zapata, Councillor of Ecological Transition and Energy of the Government of the Canary Islands, Mr. Manuel Fernández Vega, Island Councillor of Industry, Professor Ernesto Pereda de Pablo, Head of the School of Engineering and Technology, Professor Benjamín González Díaz, and Professor José Francisco Gómez González. Member of the Local Organizing Committee of the Steering Committee and the International Scientific Committee, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Steering Committee and the Local Organizing Committee, we want to hear you a very warm welcome to the 23rd edition of the International Conference on Renewable Energy and Power Quality and to La Laguna, Tenerife and the Canary Islands. Our International Program Committee has selected a high quality of 122 papers among 236 proposals, from which 139 papers will be presented at the conference, 60 at oral session and 79 at poster session during the 3 days of the conference. Also, 4 keynotes will be presented in plenary sessions and will have also one exhibit space of open rare earth technologies. This conference covers the whole range of problems and solutions, especially concerning with renewable energy and power quality, and all the papers have direct relationship with these two fields of research and practical work. We would like to thank all the authors, session chairmen, participants with our papers, and the International Scientific Committee members who have made important contributions by reviewing the proposals. In addition to the technical session, a number of social events have been arranged. Today, at 7 p.m., we'll enjoy the civil reception with a cocktail and a music group. And after that, we will take a bus to go to the Plaza del Adelantado, meeting point of our cultural visit to La Laguna. On Thursday, at about 8 p.m., will take place the conference dinner at the La Laguna Grand Hotel restaurant, with entertainment by a musical group. And on Friday, after farewell lunch, from 2:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., we will enjoy the cultural visit to Parque Nacional del Teide and La Orotava. In both cultural visits, we will have guides that speak in English and in Spanish. Our conference, which celebrates its 23rd edition, was already important for society, not only scientific. Today, it is still much so. Climate change, with floods in several countries, a large number of fires, is becoming more and more catastrophic, which make the need to promote renewable energies more evident. with new strategies and legislative proposals to achieve climate neutrality and reduce the pollution and the dependence of fossil fuels. We would like to thank all the participants, in person and online, authors, session chairman, session chairman, and the International Scientific Committee members who have made important contributions by reviewing the great number of proposals. We hope that you will find this international conference intellectually stimulating and that you will make many fruitful personal contacts during the conference and enjoy this city. It's a very interesting city, La Laguna. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Tiene la palabra el director de la Escuela Superior de Ingeniería y Tecnología de la Universidad de La Laguna, don Ernesto Pereda.
Sí. Hello, everyone. With your permission, I will first say a few words in Spanish and then I will switch back to English. Querido rector, querido consejero del Gobierno regional, querido consejero del Gobierno del Cabildo de Tenerife, querido Manuel y miembros del Comité de Organización Local. Para la Universidad de La Laguna es un verdadero placer poder ser anfitriones de esta 23ª edición del Congreso sobre Energías Renovables y Calidad de Potencia. Es la segunda vez que la Universidad de La Laguna tiene la oportunidad de ser anfitriona. La primera vez fue en el año 2019 y ya en aquella época nos dimos cuenta de lo importante que era esta conferencia y lo interesante que sería poder volver a tenerla. Estamos en un momento ahora en España y en Europa en el que la transición ecológica impone unas, digamos, necesidades de agenda política que a veces chocan con las posibilidades tecnológicas de un sistema como el eléctrico, en el que tiene que haber siempre un fino y delicado equilibrio entre producción y consumo, algo que un ingeniero sabe desde el comienzo, pero que a veces pues, no es fácil que se entienda las dificultades que eso conlleva y, evidentemente, después de lo pasado el 28 de abril, pues este congreso tiene una importancia y una relevancia a nivel nacional mayor que nunca. Con el permiso de la mesa, ahora me voy a dirigir a la audiencia en inglés. Dear colleagues, coming from everywhere in the world, thank you very much for coming to the University of La Laguna. It's a great pleasure to have you here for the second time. The first time was 2019. And back in the day, we already understood the importance of this conference and this Congress. And so when Manuel told us whether it would be possible for us to organize this 2025 session or conference, we will, from the beginning, we are very excited. I would like to thank also the work of the local organizing committee, Benjamin, José Francisco, and Silvia, Javier, and Carlos, who have worked very hard to have everything ready. I have to apologize for the work in progress, as you see, but as everything in life, if you want to be sustainable and to not perish, you have to renew yourself, and this includes some work in the building. We are in a moment where green energy transition in Europe has a clear agenda from the European Commission, but I mean the need or the interest to speed up this transition sometimes goes does not take into account the technological difficulties associated to such transition, especially to the increased production and of renewable energy and its introduction in the electrical grid. In Spain, as you all know, on April 28th, we have a major blackout in the Spanish mainland, and although the reason is not entirely clear, there is some controversy between our ministry and the system operator, Red Eléctrica. It is clear that the increased production of photovoltaic energy has something to do because of the increase of voltage in the system that was not adequately compensated. In this scenario, it is clear that this conference is more important than ever so that we can address these difficulties of increasing the penetration of renewable energies and avoid as much as possible any renewable discharge, which are, of course, a waste of resources, and has to advance in this green agenda, taking into account the technological challenges it poses, and how we as engineers can try to give an answer that keeps the quality of the power and the supply correct, but at the same time trying to be as green and sustainable as possible. I hope that you enjoy these 3 days here in Tenerife, and that you also have time for the social agenda as well as the very interesting scientific sessions. And thank you very much for coming, and hope to see you again back soon. Thank you.
Tiene la palabra a continuación el señor consejero insular de Industria, Comercio, Sector Primario y Bienestar Animal del Cabildo Insular de Tenerife, don Manuel Fernández Vega.
Gracias. Buenos días, señor rector, consejero de Transición Ecológica, miembros de este congreso. En primer lugar, darles la bienvenida a Tenerife. Como ya se ha dicho, es la segunda vez que se celebra este congreso en nuestra isla, y para nosotros, para el Cabildo Insular de Tenerife, es muy importante este tipo de foros, ¿no? Yo creo que también hay que poner en valor la situación actual de lo que es la renovable en nuestra isla, ¿no? Aunque seamos un paraíso de sol, de viento, también de ola, también de calor dentro de la tierra, apenas tenemos una penetración en torno al 20% de renovable. Por eso queda mucho por caminar, queda mucho por hacer, ¿no? Y lo que es el 80% de producción actual de lo que es energía se hace a día de hoy con combustibles tan contaminantes como es el fuel y como es el gasoil en pleno siglo XXI. Por eso, desde el Cabildo Insular de Tenerife, de la mano de otras administraciones, estamos dando pasos en los últimos años para crecer en lo que es penetración de renovables. Por un lado, con una central hidroeléctrica en lo que es el Valle de Güímar, en el sur de esta isla. También con los avances que hemos hecho en geotermia, con la participación del Cabildo de Tenerife en una sociedad, con una compañía islandesa y también una sociedad española, para que en este año ya podamos hacer lo que son los sondeos para ver si en nuestro subsuelo tenemos esa fuente de energía que también ayude a esa penetración de renovable. Y finalizo también con lo que es la eólica marina, que también debemos aquí desde el Cabildo de Tenerife, de la mano de otras administraciones, repito, desarrollarla para también ayudar a ese mix. Yo finalizo ya, pues desearles a todos un feliz congreso, también una feliz estancia en nuestra isla, y animarles a que nos contribuir con ustedes a que nos den ese conocimiento para seguir avanzando y tener cada vez un mundo más limpio, una Canarias más limpia y, por supuesto, Tenerife más limpia. Muchas gracias.
Tiene la palabra el excelentísimo señor consejero de Transición Ecológica y Energía del Gobierno de Canarias, don Mariano Hernández Zapata.
Muchas gracias, muy buenos días, rector, don Francisco García Rodríguez, consejero insular de Industria del Cabildo de Tenerife, director de la Escuela Superior de Ingeniería y Tecnología y miembro del Comité Científico, y al director también científico del Congreso, así como al resto de autoridades presentes, representantes de asociaciones del sector y especialistas de la materia que han venido a Tenerife desde diferentes partes del mundo, y muchas gracias sobre todo por la invitación. Y vuelvo a decir que es un placer que hayan elegido Tenerife, Canarias, para celebrar esta 23ª conferencia, y me imagino también que serán conscientes, igual que yo, de que en términos de energía, Canarias tiene mucho que decir, pues también tenemos un importante, gran reto por delante. Nos encontramos en una situación de emergencia energética declarada a finales del año 2023, que no ha hecho sino agilizar nuestra necesidad de cambio ante la urgente necesidad. Hemos visto las necesidades, hemos establecido una serie de acciones y hemos trabajado por una serie de cambios concretos. Y tampoco se les escaparán los incidentes recientes que hemos sufrido en la isla de La Palma, que no hacen más que evidenciar ante la ciudadanía la gravedad del asunto y la necesidad de tomar decisiones urgentes. Ni tampoco que precisamente en la isla que nos encontramos, junto a Gran Canaria y Fuerteventura, son islas con un déficit de generación de potencia y que suman en total de déficit más de 268 megavatios notificados por el operador del sistema durante los últimos años. Y por ello me gustaría compartir con ustedes unas breves líneas en las que desde el Gobierno de Canarias estamos trabajando para acelerar el cambio de modelo energético en nuestro archipiélago. Un cambio que no es solo necesario, sino además es urgente y que requiere del compromiso y de la implicación de todos, no solo de las administraciones públicas, sino también del tejido profesional y empresarial, y donde la investigación, por supuesto, cobra también un papel importante. Porque sabemos que la realidad está cambiando y que las fuentes de energías renovables cobrarán cada vez más protagonismo. Desde la Consejería hemos impulsado recientemente también una modificación de la Ley de Cambio Climático y Transición Energética de Canarias con un claro objetivo: eliminar barreras y agilizar la implantación de energías renovables en el territorio. Entre otras medidas incluye las zonas de aceleración de renovables que permitirán planificar por fin en Canarias de manera eficiente el despliegue de las instalaciones, siempre, sobre todo, primando los respetos a los valores medioambientales y también al entorno. Y además también hemos incluido medidas, herramientas para implementar la participación local. Todos los proyectos que se desarrollen en Canarias en suelo de más de 2 megavatios tendrán que disponer de hasta un 20% de ofertar su participación a la oferta a los ciudadanos y ciudadanas canarias, buscando que sean los proyectos más participativos y también buscando mayor aceptación de la población y su impacto positivo en la economía local. Todo esto se complementa con el impulso clave de los fondos Next Generation, que están de verdad suponiendo una verdadera oportunidad para avanzar en la transformación energética de Canarias, y para lo que contamos con ayudas destinadas al autoconsumo, a la creación y consolidación de comunidades energéticas, a la eficiencia en el sector industrial o a la descarbonización del transporte. Somos conscientes que no es siempre sencillo acceder a estas ayudas, y por eso también hemos puesto en marcha las oficinas de energía, oficinas donde la ciudadanía canaria puede conocer, puede tener la información, puede saber qué puertas tocar, e incluso les estamos colaborando sobre qué proyectos y de qué manera sacarlos adelante. Sabemos que el reto es complejo, pero sabemos también que la investigación y el estudio pues, son pieza fundamental para seguir avanzando en ello, y a lo largo de estos 3 días pues, tendremos el placer de conocer más de 100 exposiciones sobre el tema que nos ocupa. Ustedes son también esenciales para lograr los objetivos que nos hemos marcado para Canarias: descarbonizar nuestra economía, mejorar la eficiencia energética y garantizar suministros más limpios, más seguros y más sostenibles. Desde el Gobierno de Canarias y en especial desde esta consejería pues seguiremos trabajando para facilitar este camino y reforzar alianzas como las que hoy nos reúne, y les demos la mano para seguir trabajando en pro de estos objetivos. Muchas gracias por su atención, por su labor y por su compromiso también con el futuro energético de Canarias. Muchas gracias. Disfruten del Congreso.
Muchas gracias, excelentísimo señor consejero de Transición Ecológica del Gobierno de Canarias, señor consejero insular de Industria, director académico del Congreso, querido director de la Escuela de Ingeniería, colegas del comité organizador. Para mí como rector de la Universidad de La Laguna es un honor y creo que un lujo, ¿no?, poder estar participando aquí en esta inauguración de un congreso tan consolidado que se lleva celebrando nada menos que en 23 ocasiones. Es la segunda vez que se desarrolla en nuestra universidad. Y como comentaba con el director del Congreso, don Manuel Pérez, ¿no?, hace 23 años, pues probablemente hablar de estos temas era, en fin, casi que un esnovismo, ¿no? Hoy hablar de energías renovables es hablar no ya de futuro, sino de presente, ¿no? No cabe duda que las energías renovables son imprescindibles para plantearnos cualquier futuro que tenga que ver con la sostenibilidad, ¿no? Hemos vivido episodios, como ya se ha dicho, ¿no? Recientemente, que también, pues bueno, nos invitan a invertir, ¿no?, en la sostenibilidad del sistema en sí mismo, y por tanto, pues creo que este congreso, pues no puede ser, digamos, no puede venir mejor momento, ¿no? Y en ese sentido, pues una universidad pública como La Laguna, que por un lado, en el que por un lado pues podamos debatir en este congreso, ¿no?, en torno a reflexiones académicas en torno a este tema, pero que además aporten soluciones a problemas prácticos, reales, cotidianos, pues yo creo que es para estar orgulloso, ¿no? Que haya más de 100 trabajos que se vayan a exponer en este congreso, pues un indicador también, yo creo que de éxito, ¿no? Por eso, en un territorio como Canarias, ¿no?, aislado, digamos que discontinuo, digamos que las reflexiones que se van a realizar hoy aquí pues son todavía a lo largo de, digamos, del desarrollo de este congreso son todavía más pertinentes, ¿no? En fin, invitarles a que aprovechen las sesiones académicas, pero también, digamos, las actividades paralelas, algunas de las cuales ya el director académico del Congreso desgranó, ¿no? Creo que hay mucho trabajo por delante, mucho trabajo por hacer en este tema, y desde luego creo que también es justo, digamos, agradecer a las instituciones que han apoyado este congreso y que están apoyando pues las distintas iniciativas para introducir cada vez con mayor, digamos, en mayor cuantía el uso de energías que no vengan de fuentes contaminantes y que nos permitan, por tanto, pues mirar al futuro con esperanza, ¿no? Let me say to the participants, I would like to give you a warm welcome to the University of La Laguna. Please enjoy not only the parallel and the plenary sessions, enjoy the complementary activities, enjoy the Tenerife, enjoy La Laguna, enjoy our university. And finally, I only say it's a pleasure to inaugurate this 23rd International Conference on Renewable Energies and Power Quality. Thank you very much.
Yo luego me tendré que poner un poquito así. Claro, es que... Mira. Esto hay que pincharlo. Ah, claro. Esto, lo que no sé es dónde. Mira, aquí. Reproducción temática. Sí.
Por darle formalismo.
Venga. Pues no sé, yo creo que... Sí. Ah, bueno. Vale.
Sí, yo no voy a usar este.
Entonces este hay que pagar. Pues empezamos, ¿no? Antonio,
Empezamos eso.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to all of you, and thank you very much for attending to this conference on power quality and renewable energies. Also, I want to thank you, the University of La Laguna, for hosting this conference, in which we will be able to share very interesting ideas and topics. Well, after the opening session, now we start with the technical part of this conference. This beginning is about, with a plenary session entitled Energy Storage, the flexible link between generation and demand, and about the speaker. The speaker, I can affirm that it's a great pleasure and honor to present our speaker, Professor Dr. Don Antonio Gómez Espósito. He's really a very relevant reference at international level in the area of power systems. Well, as a short biography, I'm going to read the information in the program. But Antonio Gómez Espósito is a full professor at the Department of Electrical Engineering, University of Sevilla, Spain, and chair of the Cátedra Endesa at the University of Sevilla, which he has chaired for 12 years. He has co-authored over more than 350 publications, including more than 12 textbooks related to power system. He is fellow member of the ICREPQ and past editor of ICREPQ Transactions on Power Systems. Currently, he serves as vice editor-in-chief of the Journal of Modern Power System and Clean Energy. He has received a lot of recognition, and here only we include 5 or 6. For example, IEEE Outstanding Power Engineering Educator Award, the Golden Insignia granted by the Spanish Association for the Development of Electrical Engineering, the Research and Technology Transfer Award granted by the Government of Andalusia, a member of the Royal Civilian Academy of Science, and well, finally, he co-founded a startup. He has served at the board of managers of the Spanish TCO, Red Eléctrica de España, now Redella, for 2 years. Antonio, it is going to be a pleasure to listen to your speech.
Hello. Okay. Thank you very much, Immaculada, for your kind presentation. She's a good friend of mine, so that's why. Manuel, also, when you asked me to provide you the title of my presentation, the Spanish blackout had not taken place. So otherwise, I could have suggested a different title more related to the way renewables are impacting and how we should handle renewable to avoid blackouts. But anyway, it was too late, so it was announced in the program, so let's go on with the storage, which, by the way, is one of the energy storage is probably the best way to avoid future blackouts in a system with approaching 70% of renewable, like the Spanish one, Iberian one, which is quite isolated from Europe. So, okay, thank you for your invitation to deliver in this plenary session. It's an honor for me. Thank you, Immaculada. So, well, this is not already a classical topic. We have been dealing with storage in the academic world for the last 10 years. We organized courses 8 years ago. So, but unfortunately, investors, stakeholders, have not paid sufficient attention to the storage until, until this year, last year. So this has the only advantage of starting now to think about storage is that it is between 5 and 7 times cheaper than it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So now Spain and Europe will begin to deploy a significant amount of storage, and fortunately, as I will argue, storage is now much cheaper than it was 5 years ago. So this is an advantage, the only advantage. But we are late, as I will try to argue also. So just I will first devote some minutes to explain why we investors are now betting on energy storage. Also review the major applications, which are well known for you. What are the winning technologies, in my opinion, because there's a lot of, ideas around hydrogen, green hydrogen, and the like that I consider irrelevant. And so finally, a few words about the future of storage. So to begin with, we already have storage. We have storage, not so much, but we have storage. And the reason is we have nuclear stations. And nuclear stations are not flexible, at least those in Spain. In France, they are more flexible. So they are not flexible. So in Spain, for instance, we deployed, you can see here, 3.3 gigawatts of pumped storage. So in many places, like Japan, for instance, the USA, we have pumped storage, have had so far, basically to be able to link the generation with the demand, because the generation nuclear stations are inflexible to follow the demand. This is the reason. Another driver now, this is a new driver, the driver now is electric mobility. Electric mobility is the reason why we have now very, very cheap batteries, very mature, technologically mature battery technology, lithium-ion, but also another technology coming. I will review them later on. So thanks to the deployment of electric vehicles, we now, it's an interesting storage. You can see here that we deployed 17 million vehicles in 2024, and it is foreseen that in 2025 there will be around 20 million electric vehicles. So in 2024, we already had, including buses and trucks and light vehicles, 40 million light vehicles. Oh, this was 2023, sorry. But updating to 2024, we have over 60 million electric vehicles in the world accumulated, of which, as you can see here, buses, there is 800,000 buses, most of them in China. So it's a driver for storage. Also, we know the increase in renewable capacity. This is the global annual addition. As you can see here, since 2012, the addition in renewable exceeded those of conventional generation. Until 2012, the gray lines are conventional and the blue ones are renewable. So since 2012, we have increasingly adding more and more renewables, and now the amount of annual addition is 5 times now in 2024, 600 gigawatts of wind and solar, around 5 times as much as in 2012. In fact, the global cumulative capacity of solar power, for instance, is over 2.2 terawatts, which is twice as much as 1.1 the wind capacity and larger than hydro capacity. And so, accordingly, the increase in electricity mix has increased the same manner. in 20,000, the 80% was renewable, but this was basically hydro. Now, 23 years later, we have 31 renewable, of which more than one half comes from wind and solar, and only 14% is from hydro. In fact, in countries like Spain, the share of renewables is higher. For instance, Spain is 56% in 2024. But we will have to increase this. For instance, the total electricity was double from in the last 23 years, from 15,000 terawatt-hour to 30,000, and it will have to double again, according to the International Energy Agency, and we will have to increase the electrification of the society from 21% of final energy to around 70% when we fully decarbonize the energy system. So usually when I gave this kind of lectures, I use South Australia, California, or other countries as an example of renewable penetration. But now, in the last 4 years, I'm using Spain, because Spain is now leading this business. So you can see here that not only in 2025, we have here the week before the blackout, we have a record of PV, and we have, since 9:45 to 8:30, we have more renewable production than the demand from this interval, 9 hours, 7 hours, sorry, no, 9 hours. But it was the same also in 2023, not only 2025. Even in 2023, we, for the first time, had 9 hours in which the PV, wind, and hydro. In this case, hydro was, you see in blue here, hydro. It was in 2023, we didn't have too much hydro because it was a drought season, sorry. It was and this, we have more hydro here. But anyway, I mean, there are in many places, not only here, in California, in South Australia, even in Germany, in other places, we are now approaching the moment in which renewables, the new renewables, like in 2023, there was no hydro. The new renewables are producing 100% of the demand. Of course, we were exporting those hours because you need the reserve, the combined cycles, and the nuclear station were producing more than the demand. So we are exporting to our neighbors. Okay. So, as you can see here, contrary to what we had at the beginning, 25 years ago, we had storage because of the inflexibility of generation to follow the demand. And now it is just the opposite. We need storage because of the inflexibility of demand to follow the uncertain and volatile generation, which is wind and PV and solar. Okay? So this is the reason. Okay, so this is now. Let's review briefly the applications. I will try to give time for questions and answers at the end, if possible. So I will try to speed up the presentation. According to the time horizon, this is probably the simplest classification of applications. In terms of time horizon, we can go from the real time here. I don't see the light. Okay. From the real time to the long term. So the first application was, related with air stability, inertia, frequency regulation from the millisecond to second. This is probably related with the Spanish blackout. So we need storage to help a system with high amounts of renewable control the frequency and the voltages, mainly voltage in this case. From the millisecond to second. I will show later an example. Also, fin capacity, flexible capacity, because we have now deeper and higher load gradients, so in the hours horizon. And then from hourly to daily, we need fin capacity for the night peaks, when there is no sun and sometimes there is no wind, or to avoid congestions. And then, of course, the major application, which is the one that was mentioned at the beginning, pumped storage. Pumped storage was basically to do energy and price arbitrage for nuclear station, okay? So this is to shift in time the energy or prices. And this is the horizon is daily or weekly. For some reason, I'm reading a lot of things recently about long-duration energy storage, I mean, seasonal storage. But as I will try to argue it, I don't think this is so important as many stakeholders claim. Particularly in countries with low latitudes, with significant sun. So I don't think seasonal is so important in many countries. According to agents, the application, every agent, all agents in the chain, in the power system chain, will benefit to a certain extent from storage. So storage will be useful for all agents in the power system chain, beginning from generation for, of course, energy price arbitrage, which is the classical application, provide capacity when there is no sun, no wind, avoid curtailments. I will show some example about curtailment later on. For transmission operator, you have ancillary services, stability, frequency regulation, and the like. Congestion relief, for instance, in Italy, for instance, Terna is applying batteries for avoid network upgrading. Distribution company, the same congestion relief to avoid, we have made some studies for some utilities that with small batteries you can avoid postpone expansion of the grid, and also for outage management when there are outages we can help to restore the service earlier. And what to mention behind the meter, many people like myself, we have a rooftop PV and we have batteries at home, and by the way, during the bad cloud we didn't suffer the consequences because we were in an island at home, so we had batteries and we had PV, rooftop PV, so this was an advantage. Also price arbitrage, I have a virtual battery service from a retailing company, and they offer me the possibility of compensating what I'm injecting to the grid with what I'm consuming. So I'm paying zero error for the last nearly 2 years now. So because of this battery I have at home. So this is useful. So all those applications of battery energy storage in general, not only batteries. But in my case, it was a battery. Just some example. I'm thinking of replacing this slide with one for 2025, which is even more dramatic, but I intentionally left this slide 2021 because already in 2021, South Australia had this kind of generation profile. For instance, this day, basically all was in green wind and in yellow sun, so 95%, okay, 100% was wind and sun, but then 3 days later, 100% is gas, means fossil, gas and coal, probably, gas, coal. There's a lot of coal in Australia. So no wind, no sun. So this is a good example of why we need storage, okay? So daily and weekly storage will be crucial, as I stated in this slide. So this daily fluctuations, rest curtailments. I've shown as an example the United States, but I could also show China or Spain or other countries, I don't know, Ireland, many other countries. So there are curtailments now because we don't have sufficient storage. So accordingly, we have curtailment. And you can see here how solar in yellow and wind in not so much, but particularly solar curtailment. These are monthly curtailments in the US. And also in the left, you see how the curtailment have been increasing significantly in the last years. This is the curtailment rate. For instance, it was 8% in 2022. These are now outdated. This slide is outdated, it's 2022, but now the curtailment rates are higher. So the curtailment rates are becoming to be important. And this is another reason why we need storage. Energy and price arbitrage, this is the classical application already played by pumped storage in the age of nuclear stations. So this is again, but now it is more urgent to this application. You can see here in Germany, for instance, in 2024, whole week, you can see here when there is yellow, too much sun, the prices are very low. This line is the price. This is the demand, of course. This in green, this is the price, and this is the renewable production, wind and solar. So you can see perfectly there are a lot of solar, low prices. No solar, high prices, low prices. So there is a out of phase. Solar and prices are out of phase, totally out of phase. Well, Spain is a good example. This is the week before the blackout. This were the prices in red in Spain, and in blue in France, which is our neighbor country, and France is cheaper because of nuclear, cheaper than the Central Europe. So this is and you can see, for instance, that here, when the prices in France and Spain are the same, this means that the interconnections are not congested, as we know. But when the interconnections are congested, that happens most of the time, by the way, now, the prices in France are higher than the prices in Spain. But anyway, what I want to illustrate here is how very frequently prices in Spain are ridiculously low. It's zero or even negative. So this is unsustainable. There is no investor that wants to invest on solar if there are zero prices for 900 hours like in 2024. In 2024 in Spain, we had nearly 900 hours with zero or negative prices. This is crazy. This means simply that the marginal pricing is foolish in this context. It could make sense 25 years ago, but not now. Also, energy storage can make money. I will show you the example of South Australia later on. Energy storage can make money by simply taking advantage of this. You can see here, in blue, the wholesale price in Spain. This is the wholesale price. You can see that before the blackout, most of the price came from daily energy, and in yellow, the additional increase in price from technical constraints. Technical constraints are provided separately, and those agents providing technical constraint support, they get more money. So in yellow is the part of the price, the wholesale sale price due to technical constraints. As you can see here, that after the blackout, the energy price was similar, null, but the technical constraint was significant share, so a lot of money. So energy storage can play a role here and get money by playing in the providing complementary service regulation, frequency regulation, and the like. Okay, so. Anyway, what is the experience? For instance, the US has a lot of storage, a lot of batteries. I will show you later some data. And what kind of application for energy storage? Well, you can see here that in the US, as an example, you can see here in blue, the frequency regulation is a lot of significant portion, arbitrage, and then ramping reserve, and then quite a few other services. All those services are provided in the USA by energy storage. But you can see that the three major services are frequency regulation, energy price arbitrage, and ramping spinning reserve. You can see that altogether they add up larger than 1%, of course, because the same battery, or say storage, can be used for several purposes, of course. A few words about seasonal storage. As I said at the beginning, I don't think, contrary to many stakeholders now claiming that you need seasonal storage, long duration energy storage. There is now a boom, long duration energy storage. In many countries, you will not need long duration energy storage. You will need only probably weekly storage at most. For instance, Germany, which is not so well located from the point of view of solar. Germany, in summer, solar is 4.55 times higher than in winter. Despite that, thanks to wind in blue, the monthly production is basically constant because wind and sun complement each other. And this happens almost everywhere. This is the average of 1995 to 2000, so it's an average. It's a stable result. It's not a single year. So it refers to the power installed long ago. Now, I should update this figure, but I have not found the updated figure, but this gives an idea. And if instead of Germany, we refer to Spain, Italy, Greece, Serbia, countries at lower latitudes, it is even easier, even simpler, even more, because in Spain, the difference between summer and winter is 60%. It's not 5 times. So in Spain, the same. Or if you orientate the panels a little bit upwards, I mean, the tile angle is a little bit higher, as I will explain in a session tomorrow, then the sun in Spain may be almost constant throughout the year. Okay, you will be able to produce almost the same PV energy in winter than in summer. Anyway, so you will not need, for many countries, you will not need long duration energy storage, contrary to what many people claim. At least in my opinion, for the problem. Ahora no. Not now. not the time to update something. Anyway. Okay, so winning technology. Let me check the time, sorry. Please, can you tell me when 10 minutes? Yes, 5 minutes. 10 minutes? No. Okay, 25 minutes, but I will try to leave 10 minutes for question, okay? Okay, thank you, Irma. So winning technologies, of course, hydro pumping is the classical one. Hydro pumping storage has enjoyed many technical improvements. I summarize here the technical improvement is hydraulic short circuit. Like you can see here, you have two machines, the pump and the turbine simultaneously working, which is wasteful, but for this provides flexibility. We have a variable speed drives, like in Japan, almost all pumping storage in Japan, which is a power in pumping storage, with variable speed drives, similar to the one we are using in wind energy. So this provides faster response and more efficiency. The major limitation is the need to find alternative sites, and there are many experiments. For instance, in Germany, they are trying salt caverns, or using the ocean as lower reservoir. This was not successful in Japan. They tried to do that, but they closed the station because the water, the salty water, is complex to handle this kind of arrangement. But anyway, this is the major technology. In fact, all projects I know, all projects with pumping storage I know so far, all of them refer to modify existing reservoir. I mean, adding pipes, adding turbines, adding machine or whatever. So we are getting more power with the same energy, basically, because we are not adding any new dam, any new reservoir. So anyway, these are the advantages and the pros and cons. I will not go into stop because it's just to give you an overview of the pumps. Yeah, basically the main advantage is that the long life of course, with expensive maintenance. Also, system operators love the natural synchronism. Again, I don't think it is so important, but they believe, they have a religious belief in natural synchronism. Unlike they have environmental impact, of course, you need a special site. The capex is expensive. I will see you an example later on of what I mean with these cons. Okay. The true thing is that in 2020, 82% of storage capacity was hydro pumped. Actually, I still hear some expert delivering sessions like this claiming that today we still have 82% in pumping storage, which is not the case. Now we have only 2/3 of pumping storage because in the last 3 years, the amount of batteries has multiplied by, So please, now we have only 2/3 is pumping storage, and this amount is quickly decreasing. I will show later on. This is an example of how pumping storage has been successfully used to integrate in renewable. This is the Kyushu island in Japan, which is the third larger island in Japan in the south, you may know. It is connected to the other island through submarine cables. In 2010, there were 0 PV. And in blue here, you can see the pumping storage, charging and discharging here. However, now in 2020, with 10 gigawatts, now it's higher, but it's 2020. In yellow, you see the sun, in yellow. And in blue here, you see the pumping storage. So it is the pumping storage that allows this island, which are a large amount of inhabitants, not so small, it's a huge island, allow it to reach, significant penetrations of solar, okay? So this is a good example of how pumping storage has been helpful to integrate solar. Now the other technology, which is now increasing the share significantly and is winning a lot of share, is of course batteries, lithium-ion batteries, and I'm showing here the picture of the first grid-size battery, initially 100 megawatts, and then updated immediately to 150 megawatts in South Australia in this wind plant, Hornsdale Power Reserve wind plant. And this was deployed by Tesla using power pack commercial batteries. Then afterwards, Tesla developed the Mega Pack with 3 megawatt hour per container. But particularly this one was still composed of power packs. It's composed of 6 power packs 6 power pack per container, power pack. Now, the new batteries, using megapack, which is like this one, megapack. Okay, this project was very successful from the very beginning. It avoided a couple of blackouts in the next 6 months of working. So it was very helpful to prevent blackout. You may remember that the Australian government decided to install the battery because they had suffered a major blackout in 2016 because, several lines, I don't have time to explain this. So this battery is making money with complementary services, grid services, which is 70 megawatts are reserved for 10 minutes for grid services, and then 30 megawatts are reserved for 3 hours of load shifting for the wind park. So this is the beginning of the civilization of battery storage, so to say. Okay, advantages and limitations. It's a short commissioning time. This the main advantage. This Tesla battery was deployed in 2 months, was a record. In 2 months, Tesla deployed the battery. No specific requirement for location. Ultra-fast response, much faster than any rotating machine. Even hydro machines are much slower than these batteries. The cons is, relatively short life, but this is increasing. When I bought my battery, they told me, okay, it will last for 5-8 years. Now it is clear for me, it's already been working at my home for 6 years, and it's like the same as the first day. So probably my battery will last for 20 or 25 years, hopefully. So I don't think this is a major problem. The CapEx is reducing significantly. This is no longer a con. The CapEx is probably an advantage. It provides a limitation that the grid operators claim is a limitation, synthetic synchronism, but I don't think this is a limitation, but it is anyway. This is something claimed by operators. And so we have now 33% of capacity comes from batteries, from hydro, thanks to the development of electric vehicles, okay? And these 87 gigawatts include, this is important, 33 gigawatts of distributed battery, behind-the-meter battery, which is important also, okay? This is an example of this battery, the Australian battery, the battery I was mentioning, the pioneering battery, was helping to avoid a blackout. There was a disconnection of the interconnector between Queensland and North South Wales in August 2018, 8 months after it was deployed. And then the battery was able to, you can see here the frequency drop, the frequency evolution, and how the power of the battery changed in opposite phase. I mean, when the frequency dropped, the battery increased significantly to 8 megawatts, and then suddenly, in less than a second, it moved from 8 megawatts in one direction to minus 20 megawatts, so 100 megawatts in less than 1 second. This is impossible to achieve by any synchronous machine, no matter if it is hydro, gas, or whatever. So this speed of response is impossible. Actually, this is what the energy market operators stated. It's a speed and laser precision in response to system events has been encouraging. I mean, impossible to achieve by other technology. So this shows that do we need actually a significant inertia or a speed of response? What do we need? I think we need both, but probably it's more important in the future, in the new context, it's more important the speed of response. Another example is how this is recent. A month ago in California, there was a record beaten for the batteries in the first hours in the evening. The batteries here in this color were providing 10 gigawatts. There are around 14 gigawatts of battery in California, and now in the evening, the first hour, the batteries shift the gas. So they was the major producer for several hours. The batteries were the major producer of electricity in California, a country similar to Spain in terms of population and economic activity and the like. And then here, 82% came from wind and solar in the central hour of the day. So in the central hour of the day, the battery was charging, and then in the evening, it was discharging. But it lasted even later on in the morning, so it was discharging until very late in the evening. And despite that, California still has curtailment, so it needs more batteries, more storage. And this is the typical, the well-known dark curve. It's the net demand. Anyway, this is another example. and important to many people claim that batteries are, have a problem, limitation of material, very rare earth, rare material. The true thing is that this is decreasing because now lithium LFP batteries, lithium phosphate iron batteries, are now becoming mainstream. So it is not true. I mean, you can see here that, for instance, the lithium keeps reasonably constant, the amount of lithium per kilowatt hour of battery historically, but you can see here that the cobalt is decreasing significantly and also the nickel, because more and more batteries are using more conventional minerals or materials. So it's not so dramatic now, this problem. Of course, flow batteries is another technology. I don't want to stop so much here. It's a well-known technology. The important thing is that the energy depends on the size of the two tanks, liquid tanks, electrolytes. This is so the larger the tanks, the larger the amount of energy. This is an example of vanadium flow battery in China, which is the containers are here. This is the factory, by the way, covered by PV plants, the factory using solar energy for producing the batteries. So, and the batteries have been deployed here. And in Switzerland, they have announced the largest flow battery in the world, 500 megawatts, in this critical substation. This substation, Laufenburg substation, is located in the critical start point between France, Germany, and Switzerland, a very well-known substation for European operators. Okay, so this is a huge flow battery. So in the future, flow batteries may get a significant share, depending on the evolution. And there are flow batteries using also iron, simply iron, not vanadium. What about hydrogen? No thanks. Hydrogen for fertilizers is unavoidable. For probably heavy transportation like flights is unavoidable, I don't know. For industry, for some industries is unavoidable. But for storing electricity and then producing electricity, in my opinion, is foolish. Totally foolish. Because of the overall efficiency, if you transport far away the efficiency, 25%, if you use locally and don't transport hydrogen, is still very low. So, why producing electricity from hydrogen produced from electricity? If you can do it with, for instance, compressed air. Compressed air has higher efficiencies. These two existing stations, well-known stations, very old station, by the way, in Germany and the US, have an efficiency very low, 40–50%, because of the heat and the need to use natural gas for heating the air when it is expanded. But adiabatic ones, the efficiency is much higher than hydrogen cycle. So why storing hydrogen if you can store simply air and have increased efficiency? So for this reason, I don't believe in hydrogen for energy storage. I mean, for energy storage, for producing back electricity, I mean. This is, in China, the largest compressed air storage in 2024 is 300 megawatts and 72%. 5 minutes, okay. I'm finishing. Also gravitational storage, this is another example in China. Also in China, everything is in China. This building, this huge building, is a 40-story building, very huge. They have 25 megawatts of gravitational storage. In my opinion, this kind of storage will give, probably in the future, maintenance problems or additional costs because of maintenance. Moving up and down also many masses may lead to, maintenance problems. So I don't know what this is testing. So looking forward, and 2 minutes, I'm finishing. Of course, there will be significant improvements still driven by electric vehicle in battery storage. We are now approaching this kind of energy, 300 watt-hour per kilogram. I don't going to stop. You can check this link to see the improvement in solid state, cell design, these larger batteries, sodium ion, lithium sulfur, many silicon anodes, many improvements. You can check. The cost will continue decreasing. So now in Chile, for instance, they are developing this 6 hour. 5 years ago, batteries lasted for 1 hour. Now, typically 4 hours. In the future, it will be 6 hours. And in the near future, it will be 10 hours. So sometimes I heard experts stating that batteries are really useful for, 3 hours, for daily Why daily? Why? If the cost decreases sufficiently, you may put together 2 6-hour batteries to get 12-hour batteries. So it's a matter of cost, not technology. Batteries can be used for weekly storage. My electric car is at home, and when I come back next week, we'll have the same charge. The charge loss is minimum. Anyway. So also distributed batteries, I put in here the example of Germany, over 6 gigawatts of home batteries in Germany, which is larger than the nuclear power in Germany. And then to finish, just say that the problems that are faced by pumped storage projects. All of them are facing problems which are, in my opinion, remind me those of nuclear station, which is bigger, higher budgets and longer development periods. And this is a good example. This is the Snowy 2 project, the largest pumped storage project in the world, in Australia. This project is simply to build this pipe between 2 existing reservoirs. But the problem is they are building here 2 holes, the machine hole, which are 800 meters deep, huge holes, 240 meters, it's huge hole. And this is was expected to finish in 2025, but now in 2029 probably will finish, and it will cost, instead of 3,000 million or 3 billion, it will cost 12 billion. So exactly the same problem faced by nuclear station. And this is a problem for pumped storage. In Spain, for instance, in Canary Islands, you have the Chira-Soria project here. It's totally crazy about the current budget compared to the initial budget 12 years ago. And anyway, so this is the problem. For this reason, I think like the International Energy Agency, this is the last slide, Imma, they believe that in 2030, in the net zero scenario, 20% will be pumped hydro and the 80% will be batteries. Of them, this is utility scale battery and behind the meter batteries. And I believe this will be probably conservative because the International Energy Agency outlooks are always conservative in terms of solar and batteries, always. So suggested reading, you want to read about this. These reports are very good. And thank you very much for your attention. 10 minutes. 9 minutes for questions. Amazing.
Thank you very much, Professor Antonio Gómez. Now we have 10 minutes for discussion. So we are waiting for some questions. No question?
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Yeah. There is a...
Is a microphone? No.
A microphone.
No microphone.
No microphone. Oh. Please, could you stand up?
Yeah.
So perhaps people in the room... Oh.
Okay, close here. I don't know. Because there are people connected in streaming, right? Hopefully there will be somebody connected in streaming and cannot hear you probably, no? Okay, locally, yes. Thank you.
Could you stand up? Could you stand up, please?
The question is regarding the mobile driving mobility. What's the new conclusion of this presentation? Can you just give some depth explanation about this?
You mean why you mention mobility in this presentation?
No.
Why did I mention mobility in this presentation? You mean?
Is there any?
Yeah, I understand. So yeah, probably you were not. I mean, what you mean is why did I include mobility at the beginning of my presentation in a presentation which is related to power system? The reason is because, as I tried to argue, electric vehicle development, particularly in China, the Chinese government decided 15, 20 years ago that the cities, huge megalopolis, were contaminated, pollution and the like, so they decided to electrify the transportation. They were not concerned about CO2 or whatever, just because contamination of the huge cities. So this explains why China is now the major battery producer, electrical vehicle producer, because they launched that plan, a strategic plan, and they kept the roadmap. So they are now the leaders. So thanks to mainly to China and Tesla and other manufacturers, the batteries have entered, like the PV, like the photovoltaics, has entered a virtual circle, and then the prices have been going down amazingly. So now batteries are 10 times, 20 times cheaper than 5 or 6 years ago. So I believe this is a driver of energy storage in power systems, because power systems are benefiting, are enjoying this increase, this virtual cycle created by electric mobility. That's why I mentioned electric mobility. This is not related to electric mobility. Although electric cars, when the vehicle-to-grid technology, is a common, which is not so common now, only a few cars include now vehicle-to-grid. When vehicle-to-grid is available, vehicle will play a major role also. For instance, at home, in my home, I have a 7.5 kilowatt-hour battery, 7.5 only, but my car has 50 kilowatt-hours. Unfortunately, my car is not able to make vehicle-to-grid, but the next car I buy will have it, for sure. So we will have vehicle-to-grid, and I will have a 75 kilowatt-hour or 80 kilowatt-hour battery at home for all uses, not only for moving the car. So electric mobility will be coupled, much more coupled to electric power system at the distributor level than now. So, thank you.
Another question. Please, could you stand up?
Thank you very much. So, you pointed that the major concern in the context of energy storage is the pricing schemes and mechanisms as well. What do you believe at the moment? Are the pricing mechanisms supportive enough to support the necessary storage we need? Or we need to reiterate all the mechanisms and be more focused on the technical challenges and make new market designs to support flexibility via energy storage? What do you believe?
Yeah, thank you. Very, very interesting question. I think you refer to cannibalization of prices, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good question. Actually, cannibalization of prices is a barrier for PV, for solar development, but it is an incentive for storage deployment. So, because this makes a big difference between the central hour of the day and the evening, the prices in the evening. So now storage has more chances for trading prices, for arbitraging prices. So this is good for our storage. But anyway, in my opinion, this price cannibalization and all the other things I saw in this increase in the technical constraints part of prices, this increase, in my opinion, is simply a clear symptom that the current design of electricity markets based on marginal pricing are totally inadequate and suitable for the context in which we are moving now. So in my opinion, markets should be fully redesigned. I don't know, price for different, I'm not an expert in market, but I'm sure the economist, the expert will be able to find different alternative market design, and so that, trying to, because the OPEX, the solar and wind are not burning fuel, so the OPEX, the marginal price is zero, so except for the maintenance. So, it doesn't make any sense to keep a market designed 25 years ago for thermal stations in which we now have 70% or 80% or 100% of wind and solar. It doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. But it's extremely difficult to convince the European Commission that this is the case. They are Taliban. They got to keep the current market designs. I don't know why. I don't know if the lobbies are in Brussels pushing the European Commission. But logically, it is irrational to keep, in my opinion, of course, my modest opinion, to keep marginal pricing.
Okay. Any other question? Yes. Please. Thank you.
My first question, before my main question, so actually I have two, is are the Canary Islands interconnected to continental Europe by submarine power cables? Is the
So you're talking about Canary Island? Okay, well, in fact, Spain is, the system operator is, I'm not well informed now, but I'm aware that the system operator is deploying submarine connection between, in Balearic Island, they have already connected everything. Even from Mallorca to Ibiza is a AC cable, which is one of the longest in the world. It's very long cable for AC. But from the peninsula to Mallorca is from HVDC, so it's DC. And they also have planned to interconnect some island here, but probably the major difficulty here is the depth of the ocean. So maybe, I don't know, I'm not an expert now in this, I'm not updated to, but of course, interconnection between islands will be a way. Interconnections, along with the storage, are the two major sources of helping integration of renewables. For instance, if we were able to connect Germany or Central Europe with North of Africa, we shouldn't think about any problem with long duration or weekly storage. If we are able to connect, and we will do, you know, there is a plan to connect the UK with the south of Morocco with a 3,800 kilometer submarine cable, and there are also plans to link the north of Australia with Singapore with over nearly 5,000 kilometers submarine cable. So submarine cable, submarine interconnections, HVDC, will be another hot topic to help integrate renewable. For instance, we were able to connect the west of Europe to the east of USA, which can be done through, you know, Iceland or, you know, Greenland or whatever. We will probably benefit from, you know, the 6-hour time difference for sun. So, indeed, interconnections will be a major source of flexibility, a major source of helping integration of renewable, for sure. And Canary Island will be probably one of the best examples, as this person chairing the session before mentioned, this need to decarbonize the electricity in Canary Island, because 80% is still by burning fuel oil. So, but you are right. Interconnection will be very helpful.
And what about the pumped hydro possibility?
Yeah, well, the problem, in my opinion, is that you don't have rivers. I mean, not many rivers. I mean, you know that in Gran Canaria, in the other island, the system operator is building now a pumping storage between two existing reservoirs, Chira Soria, and this will be helpful for that island, but it will be insufficient, and they will have to use a desalination plant. So the major problem I see in Canary Island for pumping storage is the lack of water, unless they decide to use ocean water, like the Japanese did. But using ocean water, I have read about this, and it has certain challenges on maintenance, you know, the turbines or whatever, the pipes, the valves, everything is, with salt water is extremely difficult it's expensive to maintenance. So for long life, for this seawater is, for that reason, probably in Canary Island, they are using desalination water, because, of course, if we were able to use ocean water, it would be easy. Even the bottom of the ocean can be used at the lower reservoir. There are some experiments using the lower reservoir will be the bottom of the ocean. So will be, but I don't know. I'm not an expert in this technology, but thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm afraid that we have consumed all the time assigned to this plenary session. Thank you very much, Professor Antonio Gomez.
You're welcome.
If there are more questions, you can discuss with Professor Gomez in the coffee break. Now we have a coffee break and the first poster session just here in the hall. Okay, thank you very much.